Section 514 is called stopping a motor, which at first seems sort of a trivial thing to say, right? You just turn it off. But it's much more complicated than that. With a large DC motor with a large load connected to it, he tells us in the text that you could actually just, cut the power to the load and machine, and depending on the size of both, it could take an hour for it to coast to a stop. So what we need is a way that we can control this. And so there are two primary methods that we use to brake the motor. It's actually, an electric brake that we create, and it's utilization of the magnetic fields that are involved and so forth and so on. But we're going to explore these. Of course, we could just use friction to stop this, apply brake like we do in a car. But that in itself is inconsistent, inefficient, and so we need a better way to do that. So we're going to explore these two terms that are fundamental electrical machine braking terms, and we'll explore how they occur. Okay, so three ways to stop a motor, and two of them are electrical methods. We call them electromechanical braking, and so one of those methods is called dynamic braking, okay? And we'll define that in the next section. And then the other one is plugging a motor. And then the third method is simply allowing the motor to coast to a stop, which is usually not something that works for us in most applications where the motor is actually doing or controlling some process. And we'll look at each of these in particular. Dynamic braking, the best example that I can think of off the top of my head is with a locomotive. And if you think about it, a heavily loaded locomotive with 100 cars plus at a pretty high speed, bringing that thing to a stop is quite a task to do. And to think that you were going to do that strictly with frictional braking on brake pads is insufficient. So we need a combination of things to be able to do that. And so we'll explore the particulars of dynamic braking. All right. And so we'll just hold off and go into the details of that in the next section and go from there.